Hey YouTube, Sam back at you again. It's been a while, so it's Friday, so I hope you all plan on having a good weekend. If you're going to be attending graduations, please be careful. And those children that are going to be going out to graduation parties or what have you, you guys just be careful as well, and just be responsible. And parents be responsible as well. Today's story is going to come out of Baltimore, Maryland, and it's in regards to some police corruption. I'm going to read it. I'm going to try not to read the entire article, but I might have to read it so you can be aware of what's going on or how things have taken place um, over the course of some years. So I'm going to read it to you. I probably will be stopping in between some paragraphs and giving my opinion as we go along. But I want to dive deep into this thing because I'm gonna tell you right now, some of the things I'm gonna say, people ain't gonna like it, and I'm just gonna be honest with you and no disrespect and pardon my language. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't give a damn whether you like it or not. The truth is what it is. It might be my truth. But also, I feel like this, if I'm thinking this way, somebody else may be thinking the same way. But I'm just going to give my opinion of this article as we go along. So, here we go. Head of rogue unit sentenced. Ex-leader of corrupt Baltimore task force gets 25 years in prison. A former leader of a corrupt Baltimore police unit has been sentenced to 25 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. U.S. District Judge Catherine Blake handed down the punishment Thursday to 37-year-old former gun trace task force leader Sergeant Wayne Earl Jenkins. Wayne Earl. Wayne Earl. That name right there alone says, okay, this nigga got some shit going on with him. But anyway, we're going to keep going. Jenkins pleaded guilty earlier this year to charges including racketeering, robbery, robbery and falsifying records. Among a long list of other crimes, he admitted to giving stolen drugs to an associate who resold them, enriching both men. Now, let me say this right here. I know for a fact that you have police officers that will set you up, because I have a friend of mine that lives in North Carolina. He's a friend of my cousin's, but we all became friends. And he smoked weed. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with smoking weed. Sweet weed don't have you going out here killing and robbing folk and doing stuff and just doing all kind of dumb stuff. But at the same time, he got arrested for having possession of marijuana. What happened was, when they went to court and the judge said, you've been charged with possession of X amount of weed, he was like, do what? He was like, you being charged with having X amount of weed. He said, that's not true. And the judge said, what do you mean? He said, I'm going to be honest with you. And he said, at this point, I really don't care what's going on right now. He said, but it was more marijuana than that they picked up. He said, the judge said, excuse me? He said, I had a pound of weed. You're charging me with a half a pound. Where's the other half? The two lady female officers, when I tell you, they got hemmed up in some stuff, because what they were doing, they took, instead of them taking the pound and going ahead and putting it in the evidence locker, they took half of that and kept it and registered the other half. You see how corrupt cops can be? This is a true story. I'm not lying. It was a lie. Hanif, you told me a lie, but I know he didn't tell me a lie. He ain't got no reason to lie. You in front of the judge. Why would, and the judge said, well, you've been charged with attempt to distribute a half a pound of weed. He was like, I didn't have a half a pound of weed. He was like, sir, according to this record, he said, no, I had a pound. What happened to the other half? And so he said, well, who were the arresting officers? So the two ladies was right there. And he said, ma'am, did he have a pound or did he have a half a pound? And she said, well, we found a half a pound. He said, no, you did not. He said, y'all came in. First of all, you came in, you knocked on my door. You didn't have reason to knock on my door. You came in, you smelled weed. Okay, fine. I smoked the blunt. But he said, when y'all came in my house, okay, you smelled weed. That may have gave you justification. But when they found it, they found a pound. He had some kind of anxiety or whatever, which he got a prescription from a doctor. He can smoke weed, but I don't know if they gave him a pound. But either way, when he went to court, he said, so the judge asked the officers, is it true? Did he have a pound or half a pound? So the white lady cop said he had a half a pound. He said, ma'am, no, I did not. I'm not going to allow you to lie in front of my face and in front of the judge about how much weed you found. He said it was a pound. He said y'all took half of that and y'all registered the other half into the evidence locker. The judge said something, but anyway, he stopped it. And he said, I need to do an investigation. Come find out, they did take the half a pound of weed. Guess what they did? No lie. They threw the case out. I kid you not. It's not a game. But that goes to show you your job as a police officer, even though you don't get paid by our tax dollars, because trust me, they get paid by a private entity. You ain't got to believe me. You can research and look it up, and I promise you, you will be like, oh my God, I thought our tax dollars was taking care of the police department. No, they're getting paid by a private something else. It's not a game. It's not a lie. Y'all got to excuse me. They're out there cutting my grass, so I will apologize for that. But when people say that a police officer set them up, don't think it won't happen, because it can happen. And I'm reading an article right now. I'm going to finish reading. Okay. Jenkins was putting poison into our community when he should have been protecting our community from that poison, Judge Blake said. Jenkins' voice choked with emotion while he stood and addressed a packed gallery before receiving his sentence. Some in the gallery cried as he spoke. I've tarnished the badge, Jenkins said through tears. Ain't no need of crying now. Don't cry now. You won't cry when you was out there doing that corrupt shit. If anything, you was laughing, and you was laughing all the way taking that money to the bank. So don't cry now because of the fact you done got caught. That's why you crying, because you done got caught. Anyway, he also apologized to Umar Burley, whom he was pursuing when Burley crashed into another car, killing an elderly woman. Heroin was planted in Burley's car after the crash. In Jenkins' plea agreement, he admitted to knowing about the planted drugs. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Jenkins is the second member of the disbanded task force to be sentenced. He led another specialized unit before joining the gun task force. U.S. Prosecutor Leo Wise said Jenkins ran both police units like a criminal gang. You see what I'm saying? And the harm that he did is immeasurable. After Blake handed down the sentence, Jenkins walked out of the court in handcuffs, as he should. In his plea agreement, Jenkins admitted to 7 separate robberies that took place over a span of several years. Now, I'm going to stop right there. This goes to show you. Now, if he had done all these robberies and planting drugs and getting drugs from the locker room of the police department or the evidence room, and then you're going to put them back out in the street to sell them, and the person who he getting to sell them is bringing him some money, he probably had that person hemmed up. He probably had that person hemmed up too. Tell me, if you don't sell these drugs for me, I'm going to put your ass in lockup. Trust me, I guarantee you that's what happened. He probably had somebody who could sell drugs and was good at selling drugs, but what he did, he got that person out, Said, go and sell this drugs, make me my money, bring me my money, you keep a portion of it and whatever, and we're going to keep rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, over and over and over again. Several years. So this could have been 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 12 years. We don't know. So guess what? All the cases that anybody part of this task force name is on, all their cases have to be reviewed again. Can you imagine the shitstorm that the prosecuting attorney has to go through to go back and look at all these cases that these men were on? Can you imagine what that's going to do? Can you imagine the tax dollars that they got to go back and spend again on a case that they have already did? But they were planning. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you hear people say they in prison, I didn't do it, I'm innocent. A lot of people say, oh yeah, everybody in here is innocent. There are people in prison that are innocent, that are serving death row sentences, life sentences, 35 years, 50 years, 70 years in prison for a crime they didn't do. Prime example, you don't believe me? Go to the innocenceproject.org. And I promise you, the cases that you read will astound you. You would be like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Trust me, when I read, because I took criminal justice in school, criminal justice and forensic science. So I'm telling you, the thing that brought a lot of forensics into play was the O.J. Simpson trial. And I know people saying, well, O.J., whatever. Let me tell you something. When that officer, I cannot remember his name right now, but when that officer took evidence and threw it in the back of his police car and turned it in like a day, 2 days later, the evidence deteriorated. Because any type of heat, if it's too cold or too hot, it can kill evidence. You don't believe me? Ask somebody that works in a forensic lab. Heat, time, natural disasters, all that stuff can destroy evidence. I'm not telling you nothing that I think or something that I heard or something that I read. I'm telling you what I know. And the O.J. Simpson case brought awareness to a lot of the forensic stuff. And that case changed the game for forensics. I'm telling you, you ask any professor that deal with criminal justice or that deal with forensics, they'll tell you that O.J. Simpson trial changed the dynamics of how evidence is being processed to this day. I'm telling you, it's not a game. But anyway, I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to keep reading. Some took place before he was part of the gun task force. So that means this has been stemming for years. So this didn't just start with him. This started with whoever was in charge before him. So this is a systemic issue. Because they want to get this collar, they want to make a name for themselves, and they want to try to rid the streets of any bad thing or people, when you supposed to be the one protecting and serving our communities, and it's you that's out there that's doing all the crazy stuff. Makes no sense. Jenkins robbed hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash as well as drugs, including cocaine and heroin, from people he had detained or arrested. So he knew the people that he was arresting either dealt with coke or heroin. You deal with weed. Okay, shit, you can go buy weed at a local dispensary in DC. All you need is a card, or you know somebody that got a card, a medical card for marijuana. You can go get weed. Hell, in Maryland, it is legal to plant up to at least 6 marijuana plants. I ain't telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I saw with these 4 eyes. Yes, I did. When I tell you the plants were taller than me, I'm 5'5". I'm 5'5", and the plants were damn near every bit of 6 feet tall. It's not a lie. I've seen it. It was like 6 plants, and he had a tarp over it. He had it covered. All that crazy stuff. But Baltimore couldn't do nothing. It's legal. It is legal in Baltimore. That's why it says cocaine and heroin, because weed ain't shit. Weed ain't nothing. We're talking heroin and cocaine. Okay? On Thursday, Blake also sentenced former gun task force officer Marcus Roosevelt Taylor to 18 years in prison. Marcus Roosevelt? Okay, anyway. In May, Blake sentenced former gun task force leader Sergeant Thomas Allers to 15 years in prison. Allers had also been a leader of the corrupt unit and was its first member to be sentenced. So, like I said, this is a systemic problem. And it's not just happening in Baltimore. I can promise you it is happening in every major city in this United States of America. It is not a game. The people that's supposed to protect and serve its citizens are corrupting and engaging in illegal shit that they trying to take people off the street for doing. But they doing it. You see what I'm saying? Not everybody that wears the badge is to do good. I know this for a fact. Not every police. Now, don't get me wrong. You got some good police officers, some good homegrown, all around good men and women who want to do right by their community. But you always gonna have, out of 100 of them, you're gonna have at least 15 to 20 of them. From out of 100, you're gonna have at least 15 to 25 that's gonna do some dumb, fucked up shit. If not half. Two former officers who were also part of the corrupt task force are scheduled to be sentenced Friday, which is today. Today. I look at it like this, and I hope you guys can see it. These are the pictures of Jenkins and Taylor. I hope you can see it. These are the two men that we have entrusted. The city entrusted, the state entrusted, and the local community entrusted that they would do right. But what they do? Come on. Can you imagine the shitstorm that the district attorney has to deal with, all the cases that's been stemming from this right here? And I guarantee you, in order for them to get caught, somebody had to talk. Somebody got caught and they talked. Or either you had a good cop that found out about it and reported it to IA, Internal Affairs. And they started doing a secret investigation and they caught up to him. I'm telling you, this is not a game, y'all. I'm telling you, the people that's supposed to protect and serve us, the people that are supposed to protect and serve us are the ones that's killing us, that's doing us more harm. And when I see a police officer, it's not that I look at him in disgust or disrespect. I just look at him like, okay, you're trying to do your job, but at the same time, are you gonna really do your job? I'm just talking about local. Every week I see a video of police officers beating people up because you won't sit down. This was just a couple days ago. They beat the guy up. They were called to a domestic violence thing. They saw the guy. The guy was standing there in the hallway on his phone. They told him he needed to sit down. And so he didn't sit down. They beat him up. It wasn't even the right guy they were looking for. So they done beat this guy up until they knocked him unconscious. Tell me he was resisting and he wasn't complying to our orders. So that required 6 of y'all to beat this man. This one man, I guarantee you that man could have been no more than 165 pounds, maybe 175 pounds, whatever. I mean, he wasn't a big guy, but he wasn't a skinny guy either. But at the same time, it took 6 of y'all to beat this guy up. I hope and they all on paid administrative leave. Now, what kind of shit is that? We're going to punish you for beating the guy up, but we're going to pay you for while you off work. You want to hurt a person? Hit them in the pockets. You want to hurt somebody? Hit them deep in the pockets. Tell them, you know what? You off duty. And hell no, you ain't getting paid. No, you can't use your vacation time. No, you can't use your sick leave. No, you can't use your annual leave. Hell no. You figure it out. Go do Uber. Go do Lyft. Go do something, but you won't be holding a gun. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. That's all I got for y'all. But I had to put the story out there because when I read it, I was like, what the hell? What is going on? But guess what? They not the only ones. They were the ones that got caught. Imagine how many other ones out there that ain't got caught yet. This been me, Sam. Y'all have a good weekend. Peace out. Have fun, y'all. Peace.